Hello, true duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and welcome to the New Card Report. Because there's new cards, and I'm a reporter. No, I'm not. Anyways, let's get to it. Well, folks, we finally have the last archetype revealed for the deck build pack Wild Survivors. The Vanquish Soul archetype, a series of cards themed around a fighting game from the looks of it. And would you look at that, we can add the worst aspects of the fighting game community to the worst aspects of the Yu-Gi-Oh community to finally see if it's possible to make an online community that's worse than League of Legends. And I'm telling you right now, you literally cannot do that. Who the fuck would willingly play that game? Moving on to the cards though, let's take a look at what cards people will be thirsting over now, because we got plenty of them. Vanquish Soul Razin is a level 4 fire attribute warrior with 1800 attack and 1500 defense. It sets the standard for the monsters of the archetype in that each of them has 2 effects, 1 quick effect among them, and they cannot be activated in the same chain. So, some neat stuff going on there. You gotta wait to get both effects. On normal or special summon, this will add a non-warrior type Vanquish Soul monster from deck to hand, and can quick effect reveal the appropriate monsters from your hand to activate one of 2 effects. If you reveal just a fire monster, it will make this card indestructible by card effect. But if you choose to reveal a fire and a dark attribute monster, it will destroy all other monsters in this card's column. Which is pretty solid. A Stratos for the deck, and Disruption provided you have some hand advantage and you're in the right zone. But that's as easy as just putting it in the right zone. So it's solid. Plus with the Stratos effect, it can get the advantage it needs in order to have the effect you want. There are worse starts to archetypes, I can't assure you. And it's the anime boy, which means that some people are going to be excited for that. We've already got that box checked. Can't wait to see how many more we check. Spoiler alert, more than you might think. Up next is Vanquish Soul Panthera. Panthera? Good cry. Even the furries are getting something in this archetype. It's a little something for everyone. Really makes you feel like Batman. What other IGN things can I say? This one's an Earth attribute beast warrior with 1700 attack and 1900 defense, and can special summon itself from the hand if you have no monsters in the main monster zones. Its second effect is the quick effect, can reveal an Earth monster to make it indestructible by battle, or reveal an Earth and a fire to destroy all spell and traps in its same column. So it's column focused in some capacity, this deck it would seem, and it plays a mix of attributes. And to entice everyone to play it, they're appealing to as far of an audience as it goes, as far as including furries. My god. And look, some of you might be like, no man, I just play it because it looks like Chitara from Thundercats. But you haven't seen Thundercats, okay? That shit's from like the 80s, and none of us have seen it. And don't pretend that you watched the 2011 reboot either, because nobody did. That's just a fact. Either way, we're moving on. Vanquish Soul Heavy Burger. It's not that funny, but every time I do that, I can't not let Heavy Burger. Heavy Burger. This one is a level 7 Dark Machine monster, and with that being machine, we now know that this deck's gonna encompass the 3 pillars of Yu-Gi-Oh archetype art design, and that is anime, machines, and dragons, all wrapped into one archetype. Like I said, this shit's for everyone. With 2500 attack, 1500 defense, this card can quick effect target a non-machine Vanquish Soul monster you control and return it to the hand to summon itself. And on field, the quick effect can reveal a dark monster to draw a card, or reveal a dark and a fire to burn the opponent for 1500 damage. And hey, would you look at that, a way to win in time built right into the deck. For no reason other than to help it win in time. Because why is it burning? I don't know. It can, and it helps win in time. And even better, a +1 every turn, your turn and the opponent's. That can steamroll pretty quick as long as you got a dark monster in hand. All in all, that's a solid thing. And it's the machine. Of course it's a machine. It's the Yu-Gi-Oh deck build pack. It's gotta have a machine in it, come on. On point, it's a beater, it summons itself, and it gets advantage. So, not a bad card to play in any stretch. Up next is Vanquish Soul Dr. Madlove, or how I learned to stop worrying and played the anime girl. Yes, it's another level 4. This one is dark, it's a fiend, and it has 1200 attack and 2000 defense. On normal or special summon, it'll add a Vanquish Soul spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and the on-field quick effect reveals a dark monster to have one monster on the opponent's field lose 500 attack and defense, or by revealing a dark and an earth, can return a monster on the field with the lowest defense to the hand, or your choice if tied. So obviously, those two quick effects seem to synergize, but you can't use them both on the same turn, so that's funny to me. It's not bad disruption by any means though, because the non-targeting bounce is a non-targeting bounce, and even though it can sometimes mean you're bouncing your own monsters, a lot of these things have effects to summon themselves from the hand, or if nothing else, can be summoned to be Stratoses of some effect. They've got 3 cards that'll search other cards to summon out. Pretty decent. That, and it's the anime girl. Come on, it's a deck build pack. Of course it's gonna have an anime girl. Vanquish Soul Pluton HG is an evil Reuniclus? It's the vibe I'm getting. In game terms, this is a level 6 fire attribute zombie with 0 attack and 0 defense. The first effect is that it can quick effect on the opponent's turn, summon itself from your hand if you control no monsters, or if all monsters you control are Vanquish Soul monsters. The on-field quick effect can reveal a fire attribute to gain 3000 defense until the end of the turn, or reveal a dark and an earth to gain 3000 attack. So it sucks. Unless there's another monster effect that'll proc when a Vanquish Soul is like summoned out or gains attack, I don't think this deck needs an independent attack gainer. It's a bit of a shame because the sludge pile here is pretty nifty to look at, and especially in regards to like fighter character design. And I suppose you could play it just as a fire attribute to reveal in hand since it's searchable by virtue of being Vanquish Soul, but this card sucks and I already said that, so next. Vanquish Soul Kaiser Various is the first one we had revealed, and the one that I wish they all looked like because I have an extreme case of dragon bias. Sue me. This is the boss monster of the deck because it's Yugioh, and this is a dragon. A level 8 Earth dragon with 3000 attack and 1500 defense. Its effect is similar to the Machines in that it can quick effect target a non-dragon Vanquish Soul monster on your field and bounce it to the hand to summon it out. And it can quick effect reveal an Earth monster to make itself unaffected by opponent's card effects for the turn, or reveal an Earth, Dark, and Fire to non-targeting destroy one card on the field. I like it. It's a towers of sorts if you want to play it that way, but you have to activate the effect to make it one. So the opponent can use something to bait out the effect, you trigger it, make it a towers, and they chain a third effect to get it off the field. Hit it with an imperm, hit it with another piece of removal. I like it. It makes for more interactive towers, if such a thing can be said, and it's also a pop. I mean, sure, you gotta reveal 3 cards to pop 1, which is maybe a little bit much, but it's a non-targeting pop, and the deck has enough means to search from what I can gather and re-loop its Stratos. That is not bad. Plus, it's a dragon. Of course there's a dragon. It's a deck build pack. There's gonna be a dragon in it. Rock of Vanquisher is their Link 1 monster, notably not a Vanquish Soul monster, meaning it contradicts the zombie sludge pile and makes that card less playable by simply existing. Sick card design, dude. Its arrow points down, it has 0 attack, and the materials to summon it are any one Vanquish Soul monster. Plus the art is cool as shit. This cannot ever be used as link material, ever, and while you control a Vanquish Soul monster, the opponent can only attack the monster on your field with the highest attack stat, or their choice if it's a tie. It also has the quick effect to once per turn do one of 2 things. Either special summon a Vanquish Soul monster from your hand, or add a Vanquish Soul monster from the graveyard to your hand. Not a ton to say here. It's a very solid way to recover resources, and by being able to get a attribute into your hand to help proc an effect, it has value there, or can summon out something from your hand for more disruption, be it one of the column pop cards or the big boss if you don't want to use the quick effect to return something else. I don't know why it's not a Vanquish Soul monster specifically, but that doesn't make it any less playable. Instead, it just makes the sludge pile less playable, which I have already said, but that doesn't make it any less funny to me. So, moving on to their spell and trap, we'll start with Vanquish Soul Dust Devil, which couldn't be called Dirt Devil because otherwise a vacuum company would sue Konami, which is bad. This is a quick play spell whose art depicts the guy with two giant metal jet-like weapons that he wields in his arms, using his foot to kick someone. Yep, that's based on a fighting game, alright. This card will let you target a Vanquish Soul monster you control and change its battle position, and then you can change monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position up to the number of Vanquish Soul monsters you control with different names. It's a quirky, in-themed Book of Moon, which... that's not bad. It's also kind of like Book of Eclipse because it can't be stopped by Ash, and also it can flip multiple monsters. It needs board presence to be useful, but I don't think that that's difficult, and as such, I dig it. Book of Moon is one of my favorite pieces of card design just for the number of ways it can be played that maybe aren't immediately apparent, and yeah, it's not a 3 of, but it is searchable. So it's far from bad, I can't assure you. Up next is Vanquish Soul Continue. That's as good as my Smash Bros. Announcer voice is gonna get, okay? Continue? No. It's another quick play spell. This one depicts a sludge zombie after it fucking died again. Tragic. The effect is simple though. You pay 500 life points and target a Vanquish Soul monster in your grave, and then you either special summon it in defense or add it to your hand. More options to recover cards and just gain advantage. I don't know a case where a quick play monster reborn is bad, and there's not much else to say. Except sorry to Pluton, or Pluton, because the only good use you have is for card art, apparently. I'm sorry, Mr. Zombie Guy. Wah, wah. Starting with their trap lineup, let's take a look at Vanquish Soul Trinity Burst. A normal trap that seems like it might be pretty nutty. You activate this by targeting a Vanquish Soul monster you control, and then summon a Vanquish Soul monsters from your hand, 2 of them, with a different name from each other, as well as a different attribute from the monster on your field. Also, once this card resolves, you will bounce all monsters on the opponent's field that are in the same columns as the 3 monsters you'll now control, the one targeted and 2 summoned. So it's a nice wide compulse. Now, the monsters you summon from the hand will have their effects negated and are bounced back to the hand during the end phase, but this does allow for 3 non-targeted boingos on the opponent's turn, so that seems decent to me. It's also just confusing enough to be annoying when explaining this card's effects at a tournament against someone who hasn't played the deck. And that's how you know a card is solid. That's the real key to being playable in Yu-Gi-Oh! Vanquish Soul Calamity Kaiser is their last card revealed thus far. A counter trap, it of course requires you to control a Vanquish Soul monster to activate it, but if you do, it can negate a spell or trap card or monster effect that targets a monster you control and destroy it. But to make it slightly better than the new Gate Guardian boss monster that's accessible from the extra deck, this counter trap has the same effect, but it also burns the opponent for damage equal to the attack of one of your Vanquish Soul monsters you control. Second burn effect thrown on cards, I don't really know why. I don't know why they added the burn, but it makes it better than the Gate Guardian boss, so it's cool for that. I mean, at some point you'll be able to burn for 3k per game, and that'll be funny. But other than that, it's a bit of a shame. Targeting effects are far from rare, but they're always, you know, a little better if it's just Infernity Barrier instead of Infernity Barrier Light in regards to counter traps for archetypes. But maybe that's a bit too much if just controlling a Vanquish Soul gets you a Infernity Barrier. That'd be insane. That'd be like making an Infernity Barrier also double as a Rhoda or something. Oh wait! Couldn't give them that. In regard to all of these cards, I'm going to change it up from my usual. At first glance, they seemed a bit underwhelming to me. Can't lie. At least on paper, okay? They have some decent means of disruption, and they're all non-targeting means as well. Destruction and bouncing, and with some column focus too for no particular reason. I mean, no, the reason is that it's kind of based on a fighting game, and it's like you're in the arena and you're fighting just your opponent across from you on I get it. I understand it. It's just like no reason. But I mean, straight, getting to the point, I watched the lithium video and I can say that, you know, there's definitely some tech going on here. This is a little better than I'd give it first, you know, glance. I don't think it's going to be a meta threat, certainly not with only what we have revealed, but it all seems like a competent, easy enough to gain advantage. You can bounce your Stratoses back to your hand. You can summon back your Stratoses. The attributes are diverse enough and the cards are decent enough, with the exception of the zombie, that playing them all is warranted and good and gets you the attributes required in order for you to have what's needed to do your reveals. I think that's a solid start to an archetype, and maybe it'll be decent if we get new support for it, but as of now it seems like it'll be a playable, decent, fun, and somewhat gimmicky deck that you can hopefully pick up for the cheap. And that's decent as hell. Hooray for that. The other thing to note is, of course, the art for these cards, because good Christ, we now have a deck that could attract furry degenerates, weeb degenerates, robosexual degenerates, dragon degenerates, and even more, all wrapped up into one deck, making one community. YouTuber and streamer Farfa already put out a tweet pointlessly requesting for the community to not be weird about this deck and the art. I haven't looked at the replies to that tweet because I don't need to. This is the Yu-Gi-Oh community, and it's the Yu-Gi-Oh community online. We already know we're going to be let down in that regard. But you know what won't let you down? An LIFD magnetic display to showcase your favorite cards. Yes, thanks as always goes to today's sponsor, the LIFD magnetic display, a great and safe way to show off your favorite card of choice and the best way to support my channel outside of views and clicks. Be it valuable or just damn good looking to you, you can throw your card in there, a mint copy of Frog the Jam, or your favorite furry or anime fighter girl. The world's your oyster. You can go ahead and get 15% off by using promo code YGOStrats15 at the checkout or by clicking the link in the description. Thanks as always to LIFD for the support, and thanks to you for watching. So that'll wrap it up for this week's new card report numero dos. Just covering the new Vanquish souls in this one. You can check out the new dinosaurs from yesterday's new card report, and you can look forward to tomorrow's update as always on Fridays. So, I'm Craig Fee. Not much else to say from me. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to YGO Strats for next week's update to impress your smoking Italian wife, and so you too can be a true duelist. Up next is Vanquish Soul Continue. That's not a very good Super Smash Bros. Guy voice. Can I do it again? Continue. 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 Yes. Losing my fucking mind here.